Cedar City man dies in tragic accident. Water conservation remains a top concern amid drought conditions. And your weekend weather forecast with highs, lows, and everything you need to know for the days ahead.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. A man died after being pinned beneath a manufactured home he was helping to set up Thursday afternoon. Cedar City Police Corporal Aaron Condi told Cedar City News the home shifted unexpectedly, trapping the workers. First responders performed CPR and transported one man to the local hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Two others were also under the structure. One escaped injury and another suffered minor wounds. Sergeant Kirk Lavelle confirmed the fatality Friday morning. Police said the incident remains under investigation. Water conservation remains front and center as Washington County Water Conservancy District's Zach Renstrom urges residents to take personal responsibility amid rising drought concerns and rapid growth. Let's go to Maury Kessler, who sat down with Renstrom for a closer look at some tough decisions, infrastructure investments, and legacy of water-wise living for Utah's future.
With southern Utah's monsoon season on the horizon, water officials are once again stressing conservation. Zach Renstrom, the general manager of the Washington County Water Conservancy District, says the issues go beyond weather, as they're also a matter of legacy.
If you go back 100 years ago, the mayor of St. George at that time was saying, you know what, we need to be good stewards of the water. We need to treat water as a precious resource and we should not use it. I mean, you can actually go back, and Brigham Young said quotes about desert and how to use the water. And so all of that's happening right now with our current mayor is she's just carrying on the legacy of the state of Utah, is that we always said, be smart with your water, use it wisely.
Renstrom is facing a triple threat: drought, aging infrastructure, and fast-paced growth. He warns that if cities and developers don't keep up, a building moratorium could be on the table.
So it's a very scary scenario to happen, but there's no way that we should allow more homes to be built than we have a safe, reliable supply of water for. That would be foolish.
Outdoor landscaping also uses more than 50% of the county's water, but Renstrom says solutions are simple: better irrigation, drought-tolerant plants, and replacing lawns.
So the best thing people can do and the easiest thing people can do is just look at their own landscaping. And with almost no change, like in the number of plants or anything, if they just water more efficiently, they can cut their water use generally by 10%. And that is, watering a little bit less, shortening their time. And so the general thing is what we see is people are just simply giving their plants too much water.
Many online critics have pointed to golf courses and cemeteries as an example of bad water use, but Renstrom says many already use untreated or reuse water, and not the drinking quality water that many people choose to use on their lawns.
A lot of the cemeteries right now are using other water that would not be culinary grade, and so we have springs and we have also some wells that the water that's pumped out of those just has a very high TDS, or they contain a lot of salt. And so you can take that water and apply it to, let's say, a cemetery park, or a cemetery or like a golf course, and that's not water that is easily drinkable. It would require a lot of infrastructure and a lot of expense to get it to a drinking water level. So in the meantime, we're using that water in other places like cemeteries or on golf courses or in certain areas for recreation. Things that we are looking at and we are working on is that here shortly, we're going to move a lot of the golf courses that are using a little bit higher grade water. We're going to put them on reuse water. And so they'll be using that water and we'll be switching out. And most of the golf courses that we've reached out to, they're actively trying to figure out how they can dial it back. Some of the golf courses have as high as a goal as reducing it by 25%. And so they're actively also trying to figure out what they can do to use less water.
In order to address future water supply needs, the district is investing over $1 billion in reservoirs and pipelines to create the regional water reuse system, which is expected to yield 24,000 acre-feet annually by 2042.
Now let's take a look at your weekend weather forecast, brought to you by Casablanca Resort and Casino. In St. George, we're looking at 101 degrees right now, with tonight's low dipping to 73. Saturday promises a scorching high of 104 with a low near 74, and Sunday will stay up near 106, dipping again around 73. Over in Mesquite, it's 103 currently, setting up for a 79-degree low tonight. Saturday will top out at 108, Sunday at 111, both with lows near 80 degrees. And in Cedar City, it's currently 85 degrees, dropping to 59 overnight. Saturday's high reaches 90 with a 60-degree low, and Sunday warms up to 92, dipping to 62. Stay hydrated and plan any outdoor activities for early morning. A new tactical training facility in Washington County is giving law enforcement and first responders a safe, realistic environment to sharpen life-saving skills under pressure. Here is an inside look at Shorty's house and how it's preparing teams for potential split-second decisions that can mean the difference between life and death.
Put down the gun! Put down the gun!
A newly built tactical training facility in Washington County is giving law enforcement and first responders a safe space to prepare for the most dangerous scenarios they might face in the field. It's called Shorty's House, a 2-story tactical house built at the Red Cliffs Rifle and Pistol Range. Designed for law enforcement training, it mimics real-life environments where officers face high-risk situations like active shooters, hostages, and armed suspects. This is John Popke, a 28-year veteran of law enforcement and retired SWAT. He is also the current president of the Red Cliffs Rifle and Pistol Range's Board of Directors.
We kept talking about building a shoot house for the local law enforcement agencies and the SWAT teams to use for training. So we were given the finances through Darren Short, and a bunch of guys jumped in and built the shoot house. So the whole idea here is for them to throw on all their equipment, all their gear, and actually do an inserting in the house, actually shoot inside of a dwelling, and get the real feel of when they have to do a hostage rescue or an entry to a house setting.
The structure is built with ballistic-grade plastic and steel plating, durable enough for live fire but safe enough to prevent injuries. It's a controlled setting where officers can fine-tune decision-making under pressure.
The training value here is so important because if you don't really understand angles, hard angles, 90s, deep threats and stuff like that, you can practice all you want on what they call a static range, 10 toes on the line. But actually doing movement in here with a team of people, with people going in and out around you, in front of you, and it's so valuable.
Popke says lessons from past tragedies, like the 1970 Newhall shooting in California, have shaped how agencies nationwide approach tactical readiness. The facility was made possible by the Darren David Short Foundation and is already being used by local law enforcement. With more training areas and even a sniper tower planned, leaders hope to expand its reach.
Put down the gun! Tango down!
Read the full story by Cody Blowers on stgeorgenews.com.
The city of St. George is working to protect ancient rock art and archaeological sites along the Diagonal Street Cliffs Trail with the help of a state grant. Alicia Lundgren shows us how new signage and public education are helping preserve these cultural treasures for generations to come.
A $17,000 project is underway at the Diagonal Street Cliffs Trail in St. George. The Utah State Historic Preservation Office's archaeology grant supplied a portion of the funding, allowing the city to install new signage. Some of the signs will help users navigate the official trail route. Others will educate the public about petroglyphs and pictographs found in the area and how to avoid damaging them while recreating. Mark Goebel, a landscape architect with the City of St. George, talked about the project at a recent Washington County Habitat Conservation Advisory Committee meeting.
Again, our goal for this project is to educate the public, educate the users, help them understand that there are petroglyphs, artifacts up there that need to be protected.
To learn more, read the full story online. This is Alicia Lundgren reporting for St. George News.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to wewininjurylaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5, brought to you by We Win Injury Law.